So a few days ago, I made a video talking about some one-card combos that you can perform using Sunseed genus Loci and the new Predaplant support. And as promised, I am putting out the deck profile to go alongside that video. Now I am sort of going to be assuming in this video that you have already seen the combo video, but if you haven't, I'll leave it in the description of the video and I'll put it at the end of the video so that you can watch it afterwards. Additionally, I am going to be including two combos to go along with this video. They're going to be a slightly more resource-friendly version of the previous combo, because as you can see here, I did cut the link 4 because it took up just a little bit too much room, and I'm also going to be including a combo that lets you utilize the Brave token package because it is extremely good in this build. Additionally, I will also be leaving a card-by-card list in the video description. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. To start things off, we're going to be running triple Sunseed genus Loci. This is your best normal summon and it is full combo all by itself, so it makes sense to run 3 of this card. Then we're going to be running 1 Sunseed Twin. Now most Sunavalon decks play 2 of this card, but we're just running 1 because if you draw this card and you already have Loci in hand, unlike most Sunavalon decks, it's full combo either way. Because you're not using the twin in order to enable your full combo, what you're doing is you're using the Sunavalon cards to get into the Predaplant stuff. So if you have the Loci and you have the twin, what you're doing is you're going in and getting the Scorpio off of the effect of Jasmine and discarding the twin for its effect. So either way, it's full combo. It doesn't make sense to run more than one of this card. Next up, we're running triple Aquamancer and 1 Wandering Gryphon. Because we're using our Sunseed genus Loci as our primary normal summon, this engine fits in almost completely seamlessly and lets us play around all sorts of hand traps, especially Nibiru. Now into our actual Predaplant engine, we're running triple of our level 1. You need to run 2 of this card anyway, so to me it made sense to go ahead and just kind of up it to 3. It is kind of your best normal summon if you're going to be using the Brave token engine anyway, and having a third one does come up quite a bit. Then we're going to be running 2 of each of our pendulum scales. Now you need to run 1 of your high scale and 2 of your low scale either way, but having the second high scale does come up quite a bit, and I like to have a little bit more on the Predaplant engine. This ratio made a lot of sense to me through gameplay, being sure that you're able to recover after you do your main combo. Then for our 1-ups, we're playing 1 of the level 2, 1 of the Orphrys Scorpio, 1 of the Darling Cobra, and 1 of your secondary level 1 Searcher. Now, you only want to run 1 of the Scorpio because you are using the Brave token engine, and you're primarily going to be summoning this off of Jasmine from deck and triggering its effect either way. And if you do draw like your Darling Cobra or this and you can't go into that engine, you're able to use the level 2 to go into your full combo regardless. So it works out really well with this ratio here. And for our last monster, I am running double of Radian, the Multidimensional Kaiju. This card has a lot of synergy in this deck, being able to tribute an opponent's monster and then being a dark, so you can go ahead and like super poly it away, or you can fuse it away with Predaprime Fusion. It just all around has quite a bit of synergy. Now on to our spells. To start things off, we have triple Unexpected Dai and 1 Sunvine Sowing for our Sunavalon cards. Obviously, you can use Unexpected Dai to summon Sunseed genus Loci from deck, which is just full combo on its own. We're only running 1 Sowing because we only need to run 1 Sowing. After we resolve the effect of our Dryas, we're most likely going to be running through all of them anyway, so we're not going to be able to utilize a second one all that effectively. Either way, this card does have a graveyard effect that we can use in order to protect our Verte Anaconda after we summon it, so we're more likely to be able to use Vert on the follow-up turn in order to use its effect to copy Super Polymerization from our deck in order to fuse away our opponent's monsters, which is some really good synergy. For our Brave token cards, we're running double Rites of Aramesia, 1 Journey of Destiny, and 1 Dracoback Steed. This is a pretty common ratio for these cards, but it's important to point out that Dracoback Steed can be used with Sunseed genus Loci. It's a normal monster, so we can equip this card to it in order to go ahead and bounce a card. And we can bounce Radian the Multidimensional Kaiju in order to get secondary uses off of it. Onto our Predaplant engine here, we're running double Predaprime Fusion, 1 Predapractice, and 1 Predapruning. Now, Predapractice is not a starter for us. It locks us into fusion, so we are primarily using it as a searchable extender. Additionally, we are running 1 Predapruning. This card has some really interesting usage in this deck because it is searchable. After we do our combo, we are most likely going to be able to have both of our pendulum scales back in our hand for the next turn because we do set that up. When we do have this, what we're able to do is we can fusion summon into our second copy of our level 5, use its effect in order to search Predapruning, and then Predapruning allows us to revive any of our Predaplant cards, including our fusions. So it can revive any of our fusion monsters excluding Starving Venom Fusion Dragon or Muddy Mud Dragon. Now for our other spells here, we are running triple Super Polymerization. This card is just undoubtedly the best spell card in this deck. You naturally run so many Super Poly targets that this card just fits in so well. It's also largely why I ended up cutting the level 4 just so I could have Muddy Mud Dragon in the deck, because having this card just comes up so much. Our other spell cards are double Forbidden Droplet, 1 Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion's 1 card starter all on its own as well, since we can use it to summon our level 5. 1 1-for-1, and 1 Called by the Grave. And finally, our last card, our trap, Predaplanning. For our extra deck, we are going to be running 1 Starving Venom Predator Fusion Dragon. This card comes up way more than it should, being that its summoning conditions are 1 Fusion monster plus 1 Dark Fusion monster. You'd be very surprised how often you can actually summon this. Then we're running 1 of our level 9. I'm not going to try and pronounce this card's name. It is actively unpronounceable. 2 Dracoback. Having 2 does come up a lot because you can fuse this card away with your Predaprime Fusion and just go into a second copy of it, so you can ensure that your opponent stays locked down with your Predator counters and all of the nice things that come with this. Additionally, it's not once per turn, so if you fuse into a second copy, you can still use its effect, put another counter on, and just keep your opponent locked down. Then we're running 1 Chimera Rafflesia and 2 of our level 5s. And then we're running our honorary Predaplant monster, our Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, and our Super Poly target, Muddy Mud Dragon. For our links, we're running 1 Aromaseraphy Jasmine, 1 Verte Anaconda, double Healer, and double Dryas. Now, Verte Anaconda is really the reason to be running this specific version of the deck, because you can always end on it if you open with a Loci. So you're able to use this card where your opponent can't if they're running something like the branded Fusion Engine, because that's going to lock them into Fusion monsters for the entire turn before or after they use it. So having Vert here and being able to just go ahead and Super Poly away, I've actively used Super Poly like 3 times a turn because of this card, because you can go ahead and search it off of something like Darling Cobra. You can use it from hand, so if you open one, you get that. Darling Cobra, you get another one. Verte Anaconda, you get another one. Crazy, crazy card in this deck. Now for the side deck, we are running 1 additional Super Poly target in Eldritch the Mad Golden Lord, our 3rd copy of Radian the Multidimensional Kaiju, triple Dark Ruler No More just to deal with those pesky multi-negate boards, triple Cosmic Cyclone to help deal with back row decks, as well as Mystic Mine. We don't want to be seeing Mystic Mine. We do have an in-main deck out to Mystic Mine, but having to deal with multiples or negates for our out is something that we really just don't want to be dealing with. We are running triple Chalice in order to deal with Scythe. Scythe is a bit annoying for this deck to deal with. Double Spiritualism, once again, just to ensure that we are not going to be losing to Mystic Mine. This card's also a nice out to have for Imperial Order. Finally, we're going to be having our 3rd copy of Forbidden Droplets and 1 Red Reboot. That wraps up the deck profile, but let's go ahead and get into our combos that I wanted to show. The first combo that I have to showcase here is a more resource-friendly version of the primary combo from the previous combo video. This is going to end you on one less interruption, because we're not going to be making the link 4. Instead, we're going to be prioritizing the additional room in our extra deck. But it does give you a lot of setup for the following turn. It allows you to end on both Vert and your Aromaseraphy Jasmine, so if your opponent doesn't get rid of both of them, you are set up and ready to continue playing on the next turn very effectively. Additionally, you're going to be able to use Sunvine Sowing from your graveyard to protect the 2 Link monsters. Additionally, in this combo, if you open any of your other Predaplant combo pieces, you have the ability to dodge negation for Dracoback, because you're going to be able to use Predaprime Fusion to fuse your Dracoback with your Verte Anaconda to just make another Dracoback. So if your opponent attempts to hit you with an impermanence, you can just go into a second copy of Dracoback in order to ensure that your skill drain-like trap card is always live. This is also a good way to play around Dark Ruler no more. The second combo that I wanted to showcase here is very simply just how to use the Brave token cards when you're comboing with Sunseed genus Loci. You need to keep in mind you're going to be down on 2 zones, and you need to place your Brave token cards in a very specific way to ensure that they don't get in the way of your combo. Ultimately, we're going to be ending on roughly the same board. However, we're also going to be able to either bait out an opponent's hand trap or end on an additional negate. Additionally, we'll be getting more cards with Predator counters on them, which is a huge benefit while playing this deck. This deck's biggest weakness is hand traps, specifically Nibiru. It doesn't have a really good way to play around it, except for just not summoning 5 times, which is something other versions of the deck can do okay. This version of the deck, you really want to take full advantage of Loci and summon as much as possible. So there's no reason why you shouldn't take full advantage of the Brave token engine in order to patch up that weakness with virtually no harm to you. Anyway, I hope that you found this combo video and the deck profile helpful. I had a lot of fun testing this deck. This deck is really fun to play, and it has a great matchup against albaiz. So online, it's really fun to play right now. I would highly recommend giving it a try. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked what you saw, consider commenting, or subscribing. It really helps the channel grow, and I know I appreciate it.